Hey, it's Adler from FM 1021, backstage at the rave for night 2 of Big Snow Show, 15 and a half. So big, we counted it 1.5 times with me. Nathan Willett from Cold War Kids, welcome back and back and back.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just told it's the 5th time we've been at this venue.
Yeah, and it's the 3rd Christmas show of ours you've done. You did the 10th, the 12th, and now this one that we technically should be 16 if last year didn't happen, so we just went 15 and a half. So thank you times 3.
Thank you for having us back.
This has been a kind of a crazy year for you guys, right? I don't usually bring visuals
for everyone.
This got me through. This got me through.
Hey, I haven't even seen that actually in person.
Yeah, that's kind of sexy, isn't it?
Pretty good. Yeah.
It's technically my second copy. I bought it when it came out, and I somehow at some point in a nighttime thing ripped the top part. I don't know if I just caught it, and so it's that's like look at that.
Look at that. I like it. I'm really happy to be seeing it.
And I said this on the air. I said I would thank you personally for putting out 3 albums in the last 3 years because that was something to look forward to. I remember when the first one came out, I go, oh, how many are we talking here? And it's like 3. Right. So I guess
it was the plan all along.
Was it?
And COVID definitely I guess in some ways lost a little momentum in terms of for us touring is such a huge part of making a record get to the people. But I'm glad that we just kept putting them out in spite of not being able to tour them. So it's a little bittersweet because it's like New Age Norms 2 is a record we did with Sean Everett. In some ways is the most I think different sounding record we've done in a long time, and then 3 carried that through. So I wish we had got to tour all of them more. But it's also on the flip side now we have these 24 songs to go into touring next year. A huge
amount.
It is quite a catalog we've amassed.
You can kind of still count it as new. It's sort of like opening a can of anything, using half of it and going, listen, it didn't go bad, but we can still use this later.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
How many of the songs? So and I don't know if you can equate time with number of songs, but going back to 2018. Before New Age Norms 1 came out, how many of the songs were already written? Just the songs for
those.
1? Yeah.
Okay. The plan all along was to not stockpile them, and
spread them out evenly.
Spread them out, and have them be contained to their own record, and so it really kind of worked out great as far as and I also knew I wanted to each be 8-song records, and it's kind of like it's writing that line between an EP and a full length. Yeah. And in so many ways it's not what any label or anybody wants. They want clear lines. Is this an EP or is it a full record? And it's for us, I think we hit a thing a few years ago where we've put out so much music, we've done so much touring, and in some ways we probably the most effective thing that we could do to grow would just to be go away for a few years. But I don't want to do that. I really love and I feel like we've hit a stride with writing, recording, everything. So I wanted to do this, which is 3 a trilogy of 3 8-song records. And so I think it's a little bit harder to process and release and market and all that stuff. That's all sort of whatever. But as far as the records themselves and the music, I'm just I'm so excited that we got to do it and these songs and I'm really proud of them.
It's fun to ask somebody face to face because during the pandemic I kept on asking, "How's your pandemic going?" Yeah. But what did you guys do during that downtime?
Let's see. I mean,
was this done already?
No. Okay.
Not by 2020.
I will always be able to gauge the pandemic in terms of our. We finished touring New Age Norms 1. Yeah. We got home and we were finishing, doing final touches on New Age Norms 2 when. You were in Sean Everett's studio, and he always kind of has a CNN or something running while you're working, and that's when everything kind of hit, and we realized oh man, day by day it was we probably can't come in here anymore. Yeah. So that was March, and that's when that happened. So we're whoa, let's just finish. That became the deadline for the record.
Did you hammer? Did you?
We just were let's go crazy. Let's just treat this let's treat it like we probably won't be able to come back, and that's what happened. So that was New Age Norms 2. And then through that, good chunk of time passed before it was like, okay, let's get back to work, and that became New Age Nurse 3. The sort of like 2021, working with a lot of, let's see, some pieces of songs. Like, yeah, it became us kind of all regrouping and putting this together.
Not having to share files and things like, but actually getting together.
Right.
Collectively, or just it's like 2 or 3 of you, or everybody?
All these records were different sort of groups. Of the 5 of us, all of them had different, some of them were a couple of us, some of them were all of us. So that was part of the point for me, was to almost treat it like Colder Kids is like a true sort of like, the collaboration is going to change all the time, that was really refreshing for me. And I think what allowed us to get so many songs is it wasn't sort of just like 5 of us all the time going. It was like, hey, what if you and I work together a little bit? What if the 3 of us, it became like, that became the juice for it. So this one was mostly all of us.
Isn't it kind of cool to be able to look back, let's say 10 years from now, and look at any of these 3 albums and go, yeah, now like you can actually sink in what you were doing in a time with it, rather than if you had one album with 15 songs that you did since, let's say, 2019 till today, and let's say it came out a couple months ago. It's so much more confusing as to what you did when somebody asks you a question about a song. You go, shit, I don't remember. It was a weird 3-year span where now you can go, you like what you just rattled off. It was very detailed, incredibly detailed.
Oh man, way more than.
And the outcome is, like you said, 24 new songs, which is, you could go on for another 2 years easily. Yeah, and tour in support of it.
Yeah. Watching the Beatles get back and thinking about watching that. Well, the segue is like, they had quit touring. Yeah. And they were just a recording band, writing and recording all the time. Well, not all the time, but like this has been the first time that we haven't been able to tour. Yeah. And we spent so many years saying yes to just about everything.
Everything, yeah.
And there's a song on here that is called 2 Worlds, and the chorus is like, say yes to everything. Like I feel like that there's something like that. There was always in my mind the idea that like, what if we like, Colder Kids has always almost been an exercise in like not doing the thing of like tour, make a record for 2 years, tour it for 2 years, take a year off. Like we've never been that. We've always been like touring and writing and recording all things at once, and so and that can be very exhausting. And I think that
Did you use the pandemic as downtime a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was the thing where I've always thought, like, I wonder if we'll take a year and just say no to everything. Just really be like, there's nothing, and this became that. So
somebody had to make that decision for you.
Yeah, exactly.
The world made a decision.
It was an intervention by the world.
Take it easy.
You don't have a choice. Yeah.
Okay, I will.
Yeah. So for that reason, it was refreshing and healthy for us. Yeah. And I made it's crazy how much I think, musicians are we could be really spoiled. We can have the, and the rock and roll, the whole like, I don't know, this sort of like cliche of it is that musicians walk in and they're like, salty and overly familiar with everything that's happening. But it's refreshing to kind of go like, man, I'm like, I want to play. I'm not like, oh, we got to play, show these people. Oh, I'm exhausted. I'm all these things. It's like, no, like I'm eager to, like being on stage is what, it started off being something that we love doing. It becomes your job. And then you need those reminders that it's like, man, this is what we love being up here and playing music. So,
well, I was gonna say, in a normal year, if this is the last night of the tour, let's say 3 years ago, normal times would just be like, I do not want to do one more goddamn interview. You're like, I'm done.
Honestly. Yeah, but the trick, also is like you can't show that. You can't act that way. So it's there's the showbiz comes in where it's like if you're a professional, then I would hope that I would not sit up here and be like, fuck this interview, man. I can't do another one of these, because it's a privilege. It's an incredible privilege to do this. But at the same time, it's you do get real burned out, and you need to,
The other reason I love bringing this album in is because it's almost like a cue card. Wasted All Night is one of my favorite songs. And I guess I didn't realize how long it was until I listened to it a couple times. And then I found something. I'm like, it's really sort of a 7-minute song?
It's got sort of a B section.
It is. It almost has like a gospel-y kind of vibe to it, but is very much like a drinking anthem.
Yeah.
I love that Tonight We Are All Tonight We're All Gods.
Tonight We Are Royalty. Tonight We Are All Gods. Yeah.
I love everything about that song because it is, and it captures a very great night out. And I always think drinking songs should be long. I mean, it's not, I'm calling it a drinking song just because that's my interpretation of it. I'm probably wrong.
Well, it's a little bit. There's a lot of things that it reminds me of. For simplicity's sake, it's a drinking song.
Yeah.
But it also makes me think of like being on tour in cities where sometimes if I'm. It's like observing human nature and thinking about like. People in any city and any bar and any given night, there's a ritual that is fascinating, and to almost treat it like it's like
sociology.
Sociology. It's like watching people who are like, this is their big release, and like we spent so many years touring and watching whether it's like college kids or all ages, all cities, it doesn't matter. You see this thing happen where people come in kind of burned out and they want to talk to each other, they want to connect with each other, but they're they have their inhibitions and they're coming out straight out of work or whatever it is, and the more liquor flows, the more that they're going where they want to go.
You're trying to take over small countries at the end of the year.
Exactly.
The night,
you got all the answers.
We should start a business.
Yeah.
Like you guys watching that going, oh my God.
Yeah. And being it. But also when you're playing venues and you're going to bars as often as we do, you also it becomes a little meta. You become a little like, whoa, what is it about this that is a necessity for all human beings? Because it's a drinking song, but I also want to what's the deeper? What does this mean? What about this makes me think of like
group thought and everything.
Ancient people did this.
Yeah.
We do. It's universal. So. Yeah, thank you. I love that.
Some people hundreds and thousands of years ago did say we could be gods, and they were hammered too. They were real fucked up, but they were like serious. Whereas now you're just like, that's just Pabst Blue Ribbon telling you what to do, which is fine. But I also love that it's the last song on the side, which is kind of the only place it could be, right? Yeah, you have to finish with that.
Yeah, we had this song as kind of a demo, and. The thought occurred to me. I think I was watching some videos. Lucius is the two singers that sang on the song. Made these big gospel-y choruses. I was listening to Pink Floyd. The Great Gig in the Sky is where the it's sort of an instrumental interlude, but it has the gospel singer just kind of riffing over the whole thing, and that's just a classic. A classic recording. Lucius tours with Roger Waters and performs that every night.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. Yeah. And it's incredible, and you should watch it on YouTube. Lucius and Great Gig in the Sky, and it's an insane, incredible vocal moment that they do every night. And I was like, man, I want this song to have a touch of that. Whatever that sort of non-verbal, like super. Very emotional, but gospel, but
driving,
but
very kind of
weird. Weird. And
did you know it when you found it? Did you hear it and go?
So that was part of the reason of like, we need to have this song be two halves, and like there's the song that is gospel and power, like rock and roll thing, and then there's the sort of like. It's like it's a little bit the like this is the part one is the party and part two is the sort of like. Aftermath, the like the reflection and feelings, and it gets kind of small, and there's their vocals come in. It's like it made me think of that Pink Floyd thing in a way that I like. I was glad we were able to capture all that.
The video that you did for it goes along with that too, because I love that the beginning is like handheld cameras, dogs running around chasing each other, all sorts of crazy shit like that. You're like that's. I mean, in news they always say, talk about a dog, see a dog. You're like, whatever the anchor's talking about, that's what your video you're looking at.
Yeah.
This,
yeah.
That's some good short hair too.
Yeah,
that going on.
Yeah. I got a
haircut for that. Is that pandemic hair? Is that just like a decision? You're like, I'm just.
It's been all over the place. I'm longer now.
Yeah.
This was going on for a while. Some days I wake up and I'm like, man, I need a buzz. I need to get trimmed out. Yeah. But yeah, man, thank you. It turned out great.
I just love, like I said, when I was listening to the album, I go, and I listened to it a couple times before. I just didn't. Something with vinyl, you don't pay attention to the times because you don't see it in front of you.
Just let it ride.
And I just, I'm doing laundry in the background. I'm drinking at night and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is just kind of perfect. And then I found out yesterday, like, I'll be talking to coworker kids. I'm like, oh, I got to grab this. I'm like, and so I don't forget mostly. Two things real quick to end. It's kind of weird that Kings of Leon were here last Thursday for night one, which you guys spent so much time on the road with.
Yeah.
And then the kind of thing with you guys doing the one by one with Wes.
Yes. Yeah.
So I guess
connections.
I don't want to give anything away, but is Wes going to kind of pop on there? Is that part of the set list, or
it's not? I wish. Things have been wild. I wish that we had time to rehearse it, time to figure that out. But that was another one of those things that happened remotely. Like he sent those vocals, and that was one of those things.
Wow.
It went from an idea to a reality, and we released that as a single. And so we are actually going to release like a re-released New Age Norms trilogy with a bunch of extras.
Nice.
And that is one of them. We have a song that we did for the Bill and Ted's soundtrack. We have like a whole bunch of songs that like just sort of we released through this time that like it'll be cool to have them all in one place. And,
New Age Norms 3.1.
Yeah, I don't know what it'll be.
New Age Norms Pi. It could hold be just throwing bad ideas.
But yeah, we've never actually got to perform that in person, so we need to figure that out.
Everything kind of like click together like Legos. I'm just like, wait a minute. I'm like, Lumineers are here. Wes is here. Wait a minute. I'm like, I gotta ask.
He texted me last night. I was thinking, I was almost gonna be like, should we figure? It would just be we'd have too many things to figure it out. But I was like,
well, it kind of throws him off his schedule too, because then he doesn't have any time to kind of get ready, and he's
Everybody's got a lot going on.
When I say thank you for coming back, seriously, thank you for coming back. I'm very excited about tonight. I think you guys with Lumineers will sound so good, and
it's going to be fun.
I'm also I'm excited anytime anybody has vacation ahead of them.
Totally.
And anytime you have time off, it's like we're going to get things we might not otherwise get.
For sure.
I have a feeling. So
it'll be fun.
I appreciate the time so much and enjoy it. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah.